Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Coach Susan, aka SusanDintino, coming to you from this page to give you some tips on how to get your spiritual business going. So, wow, I can't believe that we are on episode 8 already. Just let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I am a graduate of the University of Buffalo. I went traditional in my schooling with a degree in English education, and my passion was always in teaching and writing, and I'm proud to say that I was published in 2013 by Hay House. So I have a book out called Songs of My Life, slightly out of tune. You can imagine it's a humorous approach to everything that I've learned along the way. In addition to that, I do this work full-time. So I have just about every certification that Doreen Virtue has to offer. And since 2004, I've been a proud member of her staff. And as I said, I'm an angel intuitive, I'm an angel therapy practitioner, CACR, all of the beautiful recommendations that she pretty much has as far as certifications go, I have taken advantage of. So I come to you really with the experience that I've garnered while I've been on this path. And if you are new to the Coach Susan sessions, first of all, welcome. And second of all, I'd like to tell you that all of the episodes are available up on my YouTube channel. Now, I posted the links that I'm going to be referring to today, in addition to my YouTube channel link over on my fan page, which is SusanDintino, public figure, right here on Facebook. So if you don't have time to jot down some of the notes or anything that we're going to be talking about, all the information will be over there for you. So I hope you're doing well. I'm actually dressed very tropically today because it's hot. We're breaking records here in Fort Myers, and I know that some of you in Colorado have got the exact opposite story. So wherever you are, I want to thank you for joining me, and hopefully we're going to get some information that you're going to find beneficial today. So what we're going to be discussing is email marketing. Now, I know a few of you have reached out to me with very specific questions, so I wanted to tell you before we get started on email marketing that I am going to be addressing those questions and any others next week right here at this time. I know it's the first weekend of the summer, so not sure how many of you are going to have an opportunity to join me, but I'm hoping that if you have questions, you can get to that show. And I will be posting a graphic where you can post questions after. So if for some reason you're not able to attend at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, that's next week, no worries, because I will get to as many questions as I can, and you can just watch the replay. Just a reminder that this is not a reading show. This will be just questions pertaining to getting your business off the ground. And for those of you that might be posting questions while I'm talking, I do pause throughout the show and just take a look at the questions, but they come up rather quickly. Plus, I don't have my glasses on yet, so I really can't see too much until I get to that. So let's talk now about email marketing. Now, with Facebook, there's some people that feel, well, as long as I'm posting on Facebook, is it necessary to do email marketing? And it's really a very valid question. I mean, that goes along with saying, is it worth it to invest in a website if you've got a Facebook fan page? Well, in my opinion, any additional tools that you can have in your arsenal to market yourself in any way you can is a valuable tool. Now, email marketing certainly falls under that category. And what I'd like to remind you as we're discussing this subject is how you feel when you get email. Now, I am going to be very honest with you. I have 4 email addresses with AOL, and I have 1 email address with Gmail. And you might say, oh my gosh, why do you have so many? Well, 1 I use for my bill paying, 1 I use whenever I order anything, and the others I use strictly for business. The reason being that as soon as you buy something and you put your email address on, you can be assured that you are going to be beleaguered with too many emails. And the reason I'm mentioning that now is because it's important that you keep that in mind as you're thinking about what you want to do with this email list and how you want to really approach your email programming. So the first thing that I would suggest you do is really sit down and ask yourself, okay, what are your emails going to be about? What is the topic that you're going to be doing? What is the message that you really want to portray? And once you decide on that, it'll make it a lot easier in moving forward. Now, we're going to be discussing servers and things like that, but I'm just saying the first step should be really thinking about what it is that you want your emails to do. Now, I'm going to really speak from my experience. I have two types of emails. The first email that I send out is a newsletter type of email. I always include something that's beneficial to the person. It's my hope it is beneficial to whomever's receiving the email. And I have a pretty good sized list of these people that I'm sending the email out to. So, for instance, rather recently, for those of you that might not know, I've lost my husband. So grief is a big topic for me right now. And because he had been sick last summer quite a bit, I hadn't been emailing. So the topic of my last newsletter was about how I had been dealing with my process and talking a little bit about that. And it was really good because I got quite a bit of favorable response. People knew what was going on. And I actually had people forwarding that email to other people, which is a way to grow your email list, which we'll be talking about as well. So in addition to doing that, I promoted my radio show, I promoted my website, and I promoted my Facebook Live events that I'm doing around the full and new moon. So I didn't want the newsletter to totally be like an infomercial. I always want to give whomever I'm sending this email to a takeaway from the email. And I think it's a good idea. I know there's some people that have got links to free products. Often I'll send out emails, especially around the holidays, promoting my book, my CD, my meditations. And again, but I always make sure that there's a takeaway in my email. And I really think that's a good practice to have. Now that would be like rather a lengthy email, so to speak, okay? So you've got that type, a newsletter type of email. The other email you can send out is more like a postcard thing where maybe you want to announce an event that you've got coming up. And there's ways, depending on what server that you use, to develop specific lists, okay? And again, I want to keep this one step at a time, so I will talk about that. So say you're having a workshop in your neck of the woods, and Boulder, Colorado is bouncing into my mind right now. So say you're in Boulder, Colorado, and you want to get people to go to the local New Age store to come to your workshop. Well, you can have your email list set up in such a way that you are going to just promote that event, and you're going to just send it out to the people that might be interested and can personally attend that event. So short, brief, just to the point. Now, you can also obviously promote this event in your newsletter, and if it's something like a teleclass where just about anybody can go, then you would promote it that way. But these are two different ways of doing it. And I think you'll notice in the emails that you got is that they're either newsletters where they've got something to say, or there's these quick ads from stores telling you all the reasons why you got to have the next best thing, okay? And so this again is very important because if nothing else, you want the people to be opening your email. So once you decide your subject, having a really catchy subject line will help you. And all of that you can find online. You can find ways, even depending on what your email server is, you can find ways to really punch up your list. They'll tell you ways to punch up your subject line so you're going to get people to open it. Okay? So now you've decided you want to do a newsletter and you want to send it out, say, once a week, okay? That might be a bit ambitious. Let's say to start with, you're going to be sending out a newsletter once a month, okay? So now you know exactly what you want to do. So now what you're going to do is decide who's going to be sending out these emails? So, because you want to get a server, so to speak, somebody that's going to take your email and mass email it out to your list. So I'm going to give you the experience I've had with two different two different servers that you can use. I'm not even sure if that's the correct term, but what I'm talking about is somebody that's going to get your email, help you build your list, and send them out. So the first one that I used was Constant Contact. Now, when you use Constant Contact, they'll give you 3 months, I believe it is, for free. I think it's a 60-day trial period, and from then on in, it's $15 a month. Now, your list will go up there, and you will just be able to see who's coming, who's going. They have templates available so that you can select a template that you like. They'll have different graphics that are involved, and you can pretty much, it's user friendly. You can pretty much create whatever kind of email that you would like based on their templates. Now, the only catch to them is that it is $15 a month. So that was the latest price I saw. So after the 60-day free trial, you're committed to paying $15 a month. And I really did, it was fine at the time. I was sending out quite a few emails. I was being very consistent with it. Well, I would say because life had other plans, as I was in the midst of doing this, I stopped sending emails out as regularly as I was, and I'm still getting hit with this charge. And the charge is definitely based on how many people are on your list. So I don't believe for me it was 15. It was more expensive than that. And now I've got 4 or 5, maybe 4 months that I haven't sent out an email, and I'm paying for this, and I'm thinking this doesn't make sense. So I started exploring other options, and I did have a good size email list, so I wanted to find out how I could transfer it, and I decided to go to MailChimp. Okay, MailChimp is it's really quirky graphics. I really enjoy using it, and the beauty of MailChimp is it's free up to 500 people on your list. So I really think that it's something that you might want to consider. And you can certainly have the opportunity to try Constant Contact. You could try MailChimp and kind of see if one suits you more than the other. Now, you can also invest in having a newsletter template set up for you that will certainly help on either of these servers, these distributors, so to speak. But what has been my experience that I really like about MailChimp is they really do keep track of the opens, the opens, how many people are clicking on the links you put in there. When people unsubscribe, they'll send you an email, let you know right away what's going on. So I am enjoying MailChimp. And again, I'm not in any way saying that I had any problems with Constant Contact, except for the fact that it is a monthly cost. So you're going to have to decide if it's worth it for you to go with them. Now, when we're talking about all of this, let's discuss how to build your email list, because obviously you want to have people that are going to be coming to your email, signing up, so you can have somebody to send your emails to. So there's various ways to do it. One of the things I always do whenever I went to any New Age store, where I was presenting a workshop, if I was in any kind of a psychic fair, I would always have a nice little clipboard set up, and I'd usually have one with a design, maybe some brochures or something by the clipboard, and I would say, I invite you to sign up for my email list. And I'd usually have an email address and their names, and that's what I would have. Now, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is, especially now with so many people being inundated with email, why are they going to sign up for your list? So say I'm doing a workshop, I've got my list all set up, and I will say, if you're interested in finding out some more on the subject, I send out updates in my newsletter. Or if you're interested in finding out when I'll be in your neck of the woods, subscribe to my newsletter. You want to have a bit of a catch. If you want to be the first to know about my new products and free downloads on my website, subscribe to my newsletter. So kind of have a little pitch in mind when you're promoting your list and getting people to sign your list. You always want to make sure that there's a name on your list before you put it out there. Okay, it's like when you have a tip jar and you put $1 in your own tip jar. I just watched La La Land last night, and I got a kick out of that. I love the movie, by the way. And he put $1 in his tip jar because it's like priming the pump. So you want to have a name, first name on that list before you get started. And then again, encouraging people for a reason to sign up on your list. Also, there is a way that you can have people sign up on your list via Facebook. And I'm not sure exactly, I think it's just a very simplistic sign up for my email list. I don't think it gives you an opportunity to say why you should sign up for your email list. But anytime you have a chance to describe why you've got somebody really that would benefit from signing up for your email list, just mention it in your talks. If you're doing readings, when I was doing readings in metaphysical stores, I would have my email list right there, and after the reading was done, I would just say, you know, would you like to sign up for my email list? What people usually want to know is how often you're going to be mailing them. And again, I err on the side of I don't do it enough. I know I should do it more. I don't do it regularly, but you know, I always assure them that I'm not somebody that is going to be emailing them every day. And you want to have an idea as to how much of a commitment you want to make to this marketing tool. How often are your emails going to be going out? So you want to make sure that you reassure the people that are signing up for the list how you're going to be doing it. When I've been in psychic fairs, often people will just come by, the list will be there. I might chat them up a little bit. If they're interested in my book, I'll talk a little bit about that. I usually have my children's book out there, so that always is a good one that pulls people in, and we'll get talking about that. And then I'll just say, you know, if you'd like to find out about what's coming up on my radio show, because people always seem to be very enthusiastic when I mention I have a radio show. So then I'll say, feel free to sign up for my email list. I promise you I won't send too many, and I also assure you I do not share email lists. That's a big thing for people too. If they are signing up for your email list, they don't want to be shared with anybody that they haven't signed up for. And I think it's a bit of an invasion of privacy. So I really think it's important that you honor that and really make sure that, say you've got a friend who's starting a business similar to yours and says, hey, would you mind sharing your list? I really think that's a great answer, no. Because that's your list, that's a privacy, that's an integrity thing. So you want to assure them and give them all the reasons why they're going to be very safe and secure in your list. The other thing too is you want to make sure that your email list does not get thrown into their spam file. So somewhere make sure you mention that they should add you to their address book so that people won't just have the email come in and it'll be kicked out because of spam. It depends on, with me, I have to say, most of everything gets through on my email list, so I don't know what kind of spam filter AOL has because I've been with them forever. I know those of you that might be groaning, rolling your eyes, but I've always had a great deal of success. But I do get a lot of emails that I think, wow, how did this get through? But you want to make sure that you really have everybody realizing that in order to receive your email, because it's got such great information, they should add you to their address book. And that's called whitelisting. So if you ever see that word whitelist and wonder what it means, that's basically what it means. It means that your emails are assured to get to the people that they are supposed to get to, and you're not getting thrown in the spam file. And this is where your statistics will come in handy as well. With something like a MailChimp, you'll see how many opens that you have. The nice thing about MailChimp too, and again, I'm talking about recently because I've been away from constant contact for quite a while, MailChimp will actually show you how your email is going to look on a phone, on a cell phone, because they're finding more and more people now are opening emails up on iPads or their phone. The phone right now seems to be the most popular way people are reading their emails. So keep all of that in mind as you're starting to do this. On my website, I have a tab to the side I invite you to sign up for my email list. As a matter of fact, I always research before I do these classes. And one of the things I thought to myself is that I really don't have a reason up on my website why you should sign up for my email list. And I really think that's good advice. So I think I'm going to be changing that tab. But whenever and wherever you can get somebody to sign up, it's great. For instance, if you sell products and you've got customers and maybe you're somebody like I am that sells meditations, okay, MP3s. When somebody buys a meditation from you, from me, make sure you put in the receipt somewhere. Thank you very much for your purchase. I invite you to sign up for my email list, and then put a little link. If you want to find out more about my newest releases on my meditations, please sign up for my email list. So any way that you can bring them and hook them in is really significant. So I'm going to take a pause. I've got a little bit more that I'm going to talk about, but let's see. I know we've got some questions coming up here. So let's just see what we've got here. Scrolling through. And just a reminder that I don't take... Okay, so we're going to say hello to Monica. Hello, Anita. Anna has tuned in. Chelsea. Happy Saturday, Karen. Juliana. Katie. Okay, Chaya. And please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, because I do my best. Kathy, let's see. Ma. Hey, Sherry. Rima. Storms and heavy rain in Michigan. No, stay safe there, Rima. And Rima, I just hope I'm pronouncing these right. Australia, hey, Kez, thanks for joining me. Okay, Monica, I said hello. Jody, Lotus. Thank you, Lotus, for that wish of abundance. I really appreciate that. And Sharon saying, I found a mentor. Okay, Sharon, as I said, I don't do readings. For those of you that are interested in these mini readings, I do them during my radio show, which is the night shift with SusanDintino, and it is on W4CY Radio. It's an internet radio station, and I come into your homes hopefully every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And I always have a topic for my radio show, but I do mini readings during my radio show as well. This week, in addition to that, I'll be talking about the new moon, Facebook Live on my fan page. And for those of you that want to join me, I'll be talking all about the energy, the sign it's falling in. I always have an angel, a crystal, an essential oil, a flower. And we've actually started working a bit with the chakras as well in this Facebook Live. I do mini readings during that as well. This session that I have each and every week that I come to you is really about questions and answers for your spiritual business. So I offer mini readings as well as full readings on my website under services, which is my name.com. So, okay, so let's see. Okay, Teresa is saying, hi, I suppose the TM needs to appear on my business cards. Okay, Teresa, I am not exactly sure what TM you're talking about. I'm assuming that's a symbol for trademark, and I'm not sure if you're talking about after CACR, after your name there. So I'm going to have to double check on that, because I am not exactly sure what you're asking here. And if it is about putting the TM next to CACR, I will, I'll definitely find it out for you, Teresa. Next week, I'll let you know for that for sure. Unless I know Sherry's on. Sherry is the wonderful moderator for the Angel Intuitive page, and she's a great friend as well, knows a lot of this information. So Sherry, if by some chance you're listening and you know the answer to this, and post it in the comments, I would appreciate it. Okay, so yes, Pamela is saying people get excited about your radio show. Hi, Pamela. Angela, how do you feel about branding with a personal name? Again, as I've said before when we talked about websites, I think that using your own name, especially for your website, is really important. what you have to realize is that sometimes when you're using your own name, you don't have the recognition that would come with something like, you know, if you somehow put, like, say, angels in your title. That being said, I feel that it really assists you in building the brand as your name. So personally for me, I really like that. I like the idea of being able to know who you are, what you stand for, and branding really you as a person, because I feel this is such a business of trust. And I know there's many beautiful names out there that speak to what we do, but I think as your business grows, you're really your business. Whomever it is that you're calling to assist you with your readings, you are really, and what I mean by that is if it's the angels, spirit guides, whatever it is that you want to promote that you're channeling, it's really important that they know that it's you. So to me, I think branding your own name is a great idea in this business. Whether you're a healer, a reader, I think it's very beneficial, and that's exactly what I do. Great information. Thank you, Karen. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Susan from Maine, one of my favorite states. Hi, Susan. Okay, Facebook page or Facebook group, what's more effective? And that's a question from Vicky. I think you want to start with a Facebook fan page. I do have a Facebook group for my radio show, and it's a private group, and then people ask to be admitted, which I let everybody in, and I'm blessed to say that I've really attracted wonderful people that have come into that group and never had any problems. I really think that for promotion, and really if down the road you're looking in any way to maybe be published, anything like that, people are really looking at your Facebook likes. So the more you can build those Facebook likes, the better. So I would say a fan page would be a better bet than going with a group, okay? So hope that answers your question. Okay, so we got that. So I'm going to be looking at a few more questions, but one of the things that I wanted to talk about is this was a few years ago, and this is when I was really into doing my emails, and as I said, when I didn't have the personal things that were coming up that were, you know, really taking my time. One of the things I did is right before the holidays, I asked people, and I had sent out a newsletter, I asked them if they would be interested in receiving a daily newsletter from me, a daily little, it wasn't a newsletter, a daily email from me that had a very specific topic. And I started it the day after Thanksgiving, and it went right up to Christmas Day. And the name of the series of emails was Nurturing Necessities. And what I did is each day I just sent them a little tip. And at that time I was using Constant Contact. I developed a template for it, and I usually would do them, you know, maybe twice a week personally, because you can schedule how they go out. You can schedule your emails to go out at a specific time, a specific day. You can do all that. So I would schedule them all ahead so it wouldn't be overwhelming. So that is really something that you could think about doing. If there's a specific topic that you would like to discuss, say maybe the benefits of meditation, and you've got your specific email list of people that would be interested in a daily reminder about meditating, and maybe just do it for maybe a week or something. That's really a topic-driven email. You're promoting yourself because you're giving them information, but again, you're promoting yourself in a service way. For those of you that are familiar with Esther and Jerry Hicks, I know I'm signed up every day. I get a message from Abraham, and that comes into my email, and of course I signed up for it. So that's another tool that you can use. It's certainly something that would be beneficial to get your name out there. And again, by inviting people to sign up for that specific email, you're not really aggravating the people that don't want to hear from you every day. So that it's a topic-driven email. Again, and say even, you know, if you don't want to do it every day, you could do it, you know, maybe twice a week. That being said, though, I think what's important about this is that you'd want to be very consistent with it. And this would get people interested in who you are, what you're doing, you know, what you have to offer. So that's it's a great way to get started with this. Okay, let's see. Oh, I just scrolled too quickly. Okay, let's see. Okay, and Debbie is saying she does the trademark. In my opinion, I know I've trademarked a I'm getting distracted here because what's flying across the screen, so excuse me. I trademarked a meditation technique that I've developed called empowering meditation. And I put that TM on everything. So I would say, coming from a safety standpoint, I'm going to go with a yes. If for any reason that is not correct, I will let you know next week. But to the best of my knowledge, anytime something is trademarked, that trademark sign, if you're identifying yourself as a CACR, that trademark sign should be on all of your publications. So if you're calling yourself that on your website, if you're calling yourself that on your cards, you want to have that TM symbol. And you know, really, it kind of gives it a bit of validation as well when people see that trademark. So I would say definite yes with that. The thing I'm not sure is if it's mandatory, but to me, I would go and say yes. Yes, okay, so Sherry is saying CACR is trademark, thank you. So it's definitely something that you want to make sure that you have on your cards. Thanks so much for posting that. You want to make sure that you do have that on your cards and on your website whenever you're using the CACR initials. And thank you so much. That was a great question. Thank you. Okay. All right, and saying hi to Jade, and again, I'm not doing readings. Okay, I'm just looking. Okay. Claudia is saying, hi everyone, I started to be active in my Facebook page this week. As the cover, I placed a copy of the diploma, but what should I do while I don't do readings to make the page active? Okay. I started with the post of the card of the day. Well, I think that, again, is really, Claudia, something that so many of us in this world really want to know is what do we have to do, especially now that Facebook is getting very selective in who sees your post, when they see them, how often they see them. Now, when I do a post, I always do my post from my fan page. And I pretty much do like pretty boxes. I haven't gotten into doing like daily card pulls. The main reason being that I feel that there's quite a few people doing them out there. And I just, right now, I'm not feeling guided to do it. So that would be the best thing to say. That being said, there's a lot of people that have a great deal of success with that. And one of the things that I would recommend that I have really seen be very popular is maybe what you might want to consider, rather than pulling a card of the day, to put 3 cards up on your post face down, and then, you know, put A, B, and C by the cards in some type of a pretty box, and then ask people to select whatever card. You know, you'd have to put a limit on this somehow because this could really take off, but put a limit and say maybe like the first 40 people that, or you would know, actually no, if you just told them A, B, or C, then what you could do is say in 24 hours, I will post what card you pulled. And then after 24 hours, post the card A, B, C, and there's their mini reading. So that might even be more effective than a card of the day, because that's really making people come back to your page. It's making people comment, which is the way Facebook is driven. When you put up your posts, the more people see them based on how many comments you get. So anything that's going to elicit comments. For instance, something came up today in my feed, and it was from a gentleman I normally don't comment on, but he had said, if you could talk to one person that had crossed over, who would you talk to? And because tomorrow actually is my wedding anniversary, so it's been a bit of a weepy few days, I'll admit. The first thing I did was I commented and said my husband. So see, that drew me in. That question drew me in. So I almost think that anything that's going to draw your audience in is going to be more effective than, you know, again, being of service, giving people this one card reading is a beautiful thing. But when you're looking to market yourself and you're looking to build your list, what you want to do is you want to engage. As we're talking about this email list, and this is why I'm talking about, again, telling people what you're going to give them in these emails. The word always is engage the person you're reaching out to. What do you have to do to engage that person? So, like I said, I've seen those choices, pick a card as being very successful. Ton of comments underneath. I've said before, what I do is I post my pretty box, and when I talk about pretty box, I'm talking about the memes that you create with either an inspirational saying, a pretty picture, something like that. I always post them on my fan page, and then what I do is I share it from my fan page to my friends page, because I find it gets more oomph going on my friend page. One thing I was told that recently was always to make sure you're just not sharing, because if you have your Facebook page tied into your Twitter page, you always want to make sure you say something. Like, you know how sometimes you can just share a post, you don't put anything above the post? Well, if you do that, when it comes up on Twitter, it's just like a Facebook link, and people have no idea what it is, so they're not going to click on it. So what you want to do is make sure, like what I had, this one that I posted yesterday about simple acts of kindness, and what I put above it was one act of kindness. So when people see that on YouTube, they're apt to click on it and think, hey, what's this all about? So you want to make sure, if you are sharing on whatever page you have linked to your Twitter account, always make sure you say something about your picture or your post. Again, that thing that's going to pull them in and that thing that's going to engage them. So, you know, Claudia, hopefully that answers your question. Hello, Barbara and Kristen. Hey. Okay, Barbara's going to tune in later. Claire, I am about to build my group. Needed to regain a bit more energy, but I feel this Gemini new moon is the time. Well, Claire, we're going to be talking about the Gemini new moon on May 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm 5 people off 500. I hid for a while, but now I'm ready. I wanted genuine fans rather than just growing numbers. And you know what, Claire? It's a good point. I don't know if it's still available. And this is before the whole fan page thing, because I've been active with Facebook for quite a while. And at the time it was how many friends did you have? And you were really trying to get friends versus the fans. And there was actually ways that you could buy people. And you know, you pay X amount of dollars and you'd be able to build your list that way. I think what you're saying is so true about really making sure that the people that are coming to you are people that you're assisting in some way. And it's something like, no matter if you have 10 or if you have 10,000, you want to feel that this group of people that are coming to your fan page are people that are really interested in what you have to say. And we always know it's about, you know, quality versus quantity. Unfortunately, so much of what we do in life is determined by numbers. But I really think what you're saying is very accurate. It's like, you know, in that movie, Build It and They Will Come. I think if you've got something positive to say that's going to be of service to people, they are going to come. And again, it can be a slow move. There's no doubt about it. But as I've said in previous episodes, for me, I had to redefine success. What I felt success was in writing, in my blog, in my readings, in my books. What is it? And it's very interesting because, and this is something I'll share with you, there is a app out. It's called Insight Timer. And I got involved with it because I wanted a way to time my meditations. So there's guided meditations, there's everything that you can do to, you know, really enhance your meditation practice. And when I first started doing it, I decided to, you know, just use it as a timer, but I've been using it for years. And one of the things that I found not that long ago is that you can actually upload your own meditations. And then what they'll do is they have some type of a board or somebody that listens to them. And if they feel that they're what they're looking for, they will put them them up on their website. Now, it's really interesting because then what happens is people can review your meditations. So the first one I put up there, I was very proud. You know, I had given it away on my website. Everybody loved it. I should say I didn't have reviews, so who knew? But it was Sweet Dreams. So now the reviews start coming in. You know, I'm all excited. I'm up there. And people, for the most part, could not stand the music. I thought it was very cute. It was kind of lullaby, but one person actually put in the review that they burst out laughing when it started, right? So I'm mortified here, right? Because I'm thinking, wow, this is going to help people go to sleep. Now, I will say there were some people that enjoyed it, but for the most part, that was the comment. So I ended up pulling it down and I changed the music, and my response has been much more favorable. And since then, and with those criticisms, and I will admit they were painful to read, and I could delete them if I wanted to, but I didn't. And it really taught me a lot about what people expect in a meditation, in a guided meditation. I'm able to put my website there so people can go to my website. If they like my work, they're downloading more meditations. So this is another thing, another way to get your name out there. I don't believe there's a Facebook link associated with this, but again, if you're somebody that enjoys doing meditations and wants to know, you know, how they'd be received. I think right now, the one, I believe, like they tell you how many people have listened to it, and then you can see how many people added to that meditation to your favorites. So again, these are tools that you can use. That's Insight Timer. I'll put that up on my, I'll add that to the links that I was talking about. But even for those of you that are looking, I know it was free. I'm not sure if there's a free version. I know I upgraded and paid for it. But for those of you that are looking for a good timer for your meditations, but I'll add that to the links that I was talking about. So thanks, Claire. I think you raise a really valid point. Okay, Claudia. Okay, so Vicky is saying, I have a fairly successful online business involving crystals, etc., with pages on Instagram and Facebook. Would it be a good idea to use a similar name to my business and use it as a bit of a sister company, rather than using my own personal name? I think, again, you're selling crystals. When you're selling a product, I think it might be beneficial to be using crystals are somehow in the name. When we're talking about personal branding, and it's a good question, when we're talking about personal branding, what I'm talking about is if your primary business is yourself. You do readings, you do healings, and even if you have a bit of a tagline after your name, you know, like Joe Schmo, healer with the greatest hands, or something like that. I know that made no sense, but whatever. But then, you know, maybe letting people know what you do. If you're selling a specific product like crystals, essential oils, anything like that, then you might want to brand the product as well as your name. So they can go hand in hand. And again, as much as I'm saying I personally like the idea of branding my name, I will also say that if intuitively you feel it's better to go with your products, then follow your guidance with it. The most important takeaway to remember is make sure no matter what, somewhere, somehow you've registered your name with some type of domain company. And we talked about this when we talked about building websites, because even if you're not using your name now, you don't want anybody else to have access to it. So, yeah, and so you could certainly do that as a sister company, Vicki. I think that makes great sense, especially because you're selling something very specific. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay, we know that. Okay, and it's also pointing out that Angel Intuitive and ATP, those are all trademark names. So if you're using any of those, you do put the TM symbol in that. So thanks again. Yeah, so Claudia is saying she thought about 3 cards before. Yeah, again, like when you're doing any of this thing, as I said, put in big bold letters, Happy Saturday to you, Wendy. Put in big bold letters, engage, because that's what you're trying to do. Okay, so Claire's saying spot on, people seem to choose. Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. Thank you, Debbie, for those well wishes. I appreciate it. Yeah, and see, Claire is saying consistency in Facebook Live is the key. And I know, you know, Facebook Live is a whole new thing for so many people. And for me, obviously, I've gotten practice doing the CACR and then reaching out to people with my new moon, full moon broadcasts. I would say do some practice with it. I think if you've seen one of the things with anything that's new, any new technology, you'll see all different types of people up there doing it. And it's kind of like once you've been up there and people have seen you, it can go one of two ways. It's like opening a book and reading the first few paragraphs and just knowing that it's not the book for you. You always want to make sure, especially doing Facebook Live, that you're putting your best foot forward. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that you look appropriately, you've got your subject matter, and that you're comfortable in the medium. So I think it is a great tool, but like anything, you want to make sure that you're using it to your advantage and not to your disadvantage. So yes, and being consistent with it, Claire, I totally agree. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons why with me, with email, I was doing super good with it. And then I really kind of fell out of the practice of it. So I agree, Claire, being consistent is definitely the way to go. Yeah, Claire's got some good points here. Yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about that 3 card. That's why I love doing this show, because it's funny. Things will come up and come to mind. I don't even know what made me think about it, but it was really interesting that right before I came on the show, I saw that really that little thing that I told you about, who would you talk to? And all of a sudden this little light bulb went off, and okay, yeah, we want to make sure we get people engaged. And I think it is. I think it's a great tool. Have you included a link to a short video in your email newsletter? Cindy, that's a great question, and no, I've never done that. You know, and that is really something I'm going to think about doing. Usually what I do is I promote whatever I'm doing, like for instance, sending out my newsletter to promote this coming week's new moon that I'll be doing on May 25th. What I'd like to get into the habit of doing is putting out an email once a week, giving my little takeaway, and then talking about what I'm going to be doing on my radio show. And in addition, if I've got an event, new moon, whatever coming up, I would like to get in the habit of doing that. But putting a link up to the video is a great idea, and thank you for sharing that. And anybody that's got any kind of links that they can put up to your YouTube station, if you have a YouTube station, you always want to make sure you've got that link in there to your radio show. And again, in these templates, you'll find that there's information that you can fill out. I'm very cautious. I don't put my address or a phone number in my template. I always make sure. So take a good look at that template, because make sure that the information that's going out is information that you want to share. So in the template, like I said, there could be some information that they're automatically filling out from your profile. You want to just be sure. And again, almost all of the emails that I've been exposed to will have a share with the friend option. And of course, there's that dreaded unsubscribe option. It's always difficult not to take that personally, but I always find if it's been a while since I've sent out an email and I send it out, you'll have people that will, you know, kind of decided. I think that, you know, they're not interested in what you have to say, or they're just getting too many emails. I prefer to look at it that way, that people are just getting too many emails. So let's see. Hello to Polly. Okay, Claire, we got. Yeah, Teresa's saying, is it easy to find yours? All you have to do is Google my name, not Google, I'm sorry. If you're in Insight Timer, there's a search button. I've got two up there, actually, Sweet Dreams, and then the other one that I have up there is Awakening the Heart Chakra, which is also a free download that I have right now on the homepage of my website. It's an MP3 free to anybody that goes. It's just a click and play. And yeah, so on the Insight Timer, all you'd have to do is Google my name, and I have two meditations up there right now. Okay, so Lillian. Oh, Maddie, thank you. Got my little angel wings on. I'm very tropical today because, as I said, it's very warm. I'm still thinking if I do I do the card of the day. Okay, so Claudia's still talking about what she's going to do, and thank you for sharing these ideas. Okay, still looking. Yeah, Susan is saying about trademarking your name. Yeah, I think that's it. Anytime that you want to trademark anything, and I learned this when I did Empowering Meditation, and if you're interested in that at all, it's really, that was something that was totally downloaded and channeled, and it's on my website, tells you a little bit about it. But I was in meditation, this whole idea came to me. My daughter's an attorney. I called her, and she questioned whether I'd be able to do it because the word meditation was in it, and I thought, what the heck, you know, the worst they can tell me is no, and it was approved. So again, there's a process you have to go through. The beauty of being online, it can be very simple. My daughter assisted me because she's my daughter, she's an attorney, and guess what, she owes me, so she did it. But it's something you can do without getting an attorney involved. There's websites that'll help you get through it. Okay, let's see. Hey to the International Angels Network. Hey there. And there's Angelic Empowerment. Oh, Shelly is saying Snapchat is great practice. I have to say I've never used Snapchat, so I'm not familiar with it. So I'm assuming what you're talking about is great practice, because if I understand Snapchat correctly, it kind of disappears after you're done. So that might be a really good way to just practice. I use, before I come on, because I'm always putting this iPad in a different place, so I'm always trying to figure out how to make eye contact with you. What I do is I use my video on my iPad, and I'll do a couple practice things just in that. But Snapchat, that's great advice. So I think that's definitely something people would benefit from. Let's see, pulling up here. Yeah, Monica's saying she's in 26 weeks of doing Facebook Live and doing readings for an hour, and it has always grown week after week. And she's got now over 12,000 likes on her business page. So that's great. And you know, Monica, congratulations. And you know, that's one of the things that I will say about marketing. Whatever you're choosing, it's time consuming, and maybe I won't say time consuming, I would say it takes time. So what you really have to decide is where you want your priorities to be and what it is that you're marketing. Okay, because I know, because I see Monica's post quite a bit, she's on Facebook quite a bit. It's really amazing. The more you're on Facebook, the more your audience grows, and when you do mini readings, it's very attractive to people for them to listen, get a reading. It really does draw people, and I have found, even though you might not be eliciting it during the readings, people will automatically go to your fan page and like your fan page. So that is a great tool to use. And again, when you're going to be using a tool, you have to consistently use it. Going back to that. So right now for me, I'm focusing on other things. So I'm focusing on my Facebook page. I'm focusing on Facebook Live. I haven't been doing as much with my newsletters as far as my email goes. But for those of you that feel that that is really a medium that you want to build, it's very effective as well. So whatever medium that you're choosing to use for your marketing, the important thing to keep in mind is that it's going to take time. So you prioritize. What is it that you want to do? How do you feel you're going to be able to get yourself out there the best? What is your most profitable tool? to really get yourself and your message out there. So that's the one thing to remember. Get a priority list. What's important? If it's building a Facebook fan page, then I would say focus on that and some of the tips that we've talked about today, and maybe start with your email and you know, be content to maybe do one a month or something to get yourself out there. But again, depending on how much time you have, it's a beautiful thing. The more you do, the better. But keep a priority list of where you, if you have limited time, where you're going to focus your attention. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, and see, an International Angels Network is saying about a website being good. And I know we've talked about blogs, and it's interesting because one of the links that I gave you was a blog that I stumbled across that really had very valuable information on creating an email list, email marketing. Now, of course, it's their blog. Let me just blog Kissmetrics. The name of the company is kissmetrics.com, and blog was the link that I used. So again, I put this link up on my fan page. Now, this again is a very powerful tool, is creating a blog. And with WordPress, it can be very easy to do. Now, if you look back through, I think I talked about doing blogs when we talked about creating a website. So again, over on my YouTube channel, all 7 episodes are up there, and this episode will be up there this afternoon. So you can review if you're a first-time listener and you haven't tuned in before. First of all, welcome. Let me just reintroduce myself quickly. I'm SusanDintino, aka Coach Susan, and as much as possible, I come once a week to give you some tips on the experiences that I've had and some of the tools I think might help you in building your spiritual business. So SusanDintino, D-I-N-T-I-N-O. I have a website, active fan page, radio show, Night Shift with SusanDintino on Tuesdays, W4CY radio. It's W4CY.com, internet radio. I'm very proud of my book out, published by Hay House, Songs of My Life, slightly out of tune. And as we're going into the warmer weather and want something fun to read with a little bit of a takeaway lesson, I invite you to purchase it. It's available on Hay House, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. So, and I also do this work. I do readings, I do workshops, I write, and I do have a blog. Again, that's something, my blog is called Susanisms. My website's just been updated, so I'm also going to be getting back to that. But what I've been really using as my blog has really been Facebook, when I've talked about the process that I've been going through right now with my grief. Certified in just about everything Doreen Virtue offers. So I've got experience with that since 2004. Really doing this full time. So just kind of revamping all of that. You know, Claudia, that is an excellent question. What time do you think is the best for a live? Lunchtime or dinner? This is what I have found. If you're doing it on the weekends, obviously in the afternoon is a good idea. And because I hold Sunday sacred for me, which usually is staying in bed and reading a good book and doing some spiritual work personally on Sundays, I don't work on Sundays. However, if you do want to work on a Sunday, I would say Sundays or Saturdays are good in the afternoon. Personally, I have found better luck because I did do it in the afternoon with my Moon Facebook Lives. I find I'm getting a better audience in the evening. Now I'm doing 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's interesting because I've almost been wondering if I should move it up, because then Eastern, that's a good time, but for some people, you know, in the Pacific time zone, other time zones, that's kind of early. So I was toying with the idea of moving it up. This next one I do have. So I think really you have to do your own research. I personally found during the week, doing it in the afternoon, I did not get the results I get when I do it in the evening. So I think that for me, weekends, afternoon, evening, during the week. Okay, so International Angel is, okay. Okay, Cindy, that's a great question, and she wants to know how to create meditation MP3s. I will talk about that. You know, depending on how many questions come up, I'm glad you're saying this because I'm going to jot it down when we get done. I will make I'll definitely get information together because I do it quite a bit. So I will get information together for you, and we will have a show talking about doing guided meditations and things. If I have time next week, if I don't have a ton of information, then we can definitely do it next week. And I see my grandfather clock is chiming to say that I've enjoyed the pleasure of your company for 60 minutes. Wow. I will be getting this up on my YouTube channel, so that'll come up by the time I upload and everything sometime this afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time out of what I know is your busy schedule that allows me to be of assistance to you. Thank you so much for all of you that posted and your comments and your encouragement and really your advice, because we're together in this. We're together in really being light workers and really beaming our beautiful heart energy on the planet. So I can just say that I will be back next week. We're going to be doing a Q&A, so I invite you all to that. I'd also love to see you on the night shift for those mini reading questions that popped in during the show. That's 7 p.m. on W4CY Radio, and also new moon. Let's find out what's going on with this new moon energy in Gemini. And that's on May the 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Each and every one of you, blessings, have a great week, and thanks again for tuning in. Take care now.